Okay, okay.
Alright. Every time there's a Coach Max behind the team, you expect that Loyi to come out for some reason.
Yeah.
Every team he's in. I love it. I just love it. I just noticed that. And now the Loyi, obviously a lot of teams have started to re-adapt Loyi starting the season.
Yeah,
and
excellent
I
point.
love it. I really love it.
Yeah, she was sort of forgotten for a while, but then once people started to get adjusted again to the assassins coming back and all that, they realized, yeah, Loi's still pretty good. And
Pretty good.
it does make sense going up against an Edith with how she wants to eventually just stand in one area and fight. But here comes Rene J. He gets his set man hero.
Oh, the set man. I love it. I actually really like it. The Tiger, you kind of always want the flexibility of an Edith on XP and Roam, and now the Tiger always is. This is what we're talking about earlier, right? These haymakers that, you know what, can kind of be expected,
Yeah.
in this map, in this one, but sometimes it kind of slips your mind as well.
Yeah. With Escalera having a Loyi with him in the roam mid combo should be relatively okay for a high loss. What I'm worried now about after seeing that Tigreal is the Phobius of Heads. It might be another game where Heads, unfortunately, will end up having a lot of deaths. Heads and Escalera have had a lot of deaths just shared between them.
Yeah, I wonder what your fellow Bears think about this matchup as they are starting to cast up for game number 1, TNC Pro Team versus Aurora Mlbb. Take it away, Leo Nyson.
Rockhart, you're also a bear. What are you talking about? Welcome to game 1. Aurora
Welcome
versus
to Mobile
TNC.
Legends.
Joseph, if I may.
Yes, sir.
That whole draft at the start kind of threw me off, but at the end, as much as I love TNC, I like Aurora's draft better.
Do you? I like how I agreed with Renmar over there. You know, he's like, yeah, I love all the flexibility that TNC started with the first 3 picks. And then, you know, obviously it falls into place. And I think, again, that can be a part you can play in the draft where it's an advantage, you know? But again, when I look at the lineup here that TNC's bringing, granted the fact, too, that this is a different iteration of TNC.
Another new lineup.
Another new lineup, which is good. They kind of need to go through this process. I want to see them be able to execute this, especially with the lineup that they brought for game 1.
Yeah, it's one thing to introduce the flexibility, but another to come through with it once the game begins. So let's go from lane to lane here. Kozen up against Doming. And again, Bruno is such an amazing duelist.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that we're not seeing him as often these days.
Ooh, yeah, actually.
Whoa.
Domeng's going to get crashed into here. Flickers forward.
What?
Kozen going to be fine. Don't tell me Domeng somehow, some way, still able to survive the 1v2.
TNC meet TNS. The next standard.
The next
You see
standard.
that?
Yeah.
Any other carry, hell, even my very low standard, but I would have died. Any one of us would have died.
Yeah, I think so, you know. And, hey, that's the utilization of a defensive flicker, if you will, although it looked pretty aggressive.
Amazing. He was putting himself right at the tip of the shield, too.
Yeah.
That was, I'm sure, key. And then a little bit of hesitation from Kzen.
Yep.
Would you have, again, as a Julian, would you have?
I don't know.
Right?
I guess, and at that point, it's almost too risky because if Kzen press that situation and he gets gapped, he could be in trouble, especially when we're talking about the jungle matchup. Demon Kite especially, you know, specialist on the assassins, does have the Nolan pick here. We've seen this pick up constantly. And now they're going to set things up here for the turtle.
Heads pushing himself out there in the face of Renegade. Hey, look at the damage.
Going to jump in, Infernal Pursuit. Wamps will be able to pick up a kill here, and now Aurora in trouble. Kzen going to be able to get the turtle too. Still possibly looking for more. Edward pops the Primal Wrath, takes a couple shots. But he's just going to have to back off, securing the orange buff here. So TNC getting a bit of a lead. Oh, diversion going to be used. Lancey,
What?
Don't tell me, Domeng. You already survived once. Get back to base.
All right. First turtle going over to the Phoenix Army. Demon Kai trying to push out Escalera from his orange. You into the rescue. They're fine. All right. So this is very trademark TNC. All right. Early aggression, win big in the first or second turtle. How do they follow through?
Whoa!
What?
Wow! The jukes from Kzen.
All right.
With the enhanced sword.
He did have to give away the litho.
Yeah, he did.
All right. So we're looking forward to that mid-game ramp-up where TNC can make use of this early lead.
Yeah.
And then eventually deny Aurora any comebacks.
And so going back to that point, you know, this is typical for TNC. Get the ball rolling. The flames are on fire, you know, early game. And I always feel like so far from what we've seen them, how do they maintain that flame? How do they keep it going? Because look at the setup here in the mid lane. Again, implosion. The toss up on Escalera. Thrown up, tossed up, and taken out. So Aurora finds himself a kill on the board. And that is what I'm talking about, you know? TNC, they got to keep the flames alive and not get doused out here too early.
That's just Hitman things. And now, speaking of the Hitman things, right in Kozen's face. Again, we were singing Doming's praise, but how about Kozen? He's pretty independent.
He is actually, you know, going with the whole gold lane experience, trying to keep it together the best he can. And that's honestly, with a Bruno, you can do that. Like, he's gonna, you mentioned this earlier, 1v1 for a lot of the gold laners. He's gonna be fine. Flicker gonna be used. There's the Earth Shatter too. Kazen's gonna be in trouble now this time. Goes with Enhanced Sword again. And there's the return as Demon Kite's gonna fall down. And now looking for possibly another set here. They can't get anything yet, but UA's taking some damage. Should be able to just walk back to the turret. He's fine for now, but hey, back and forth here. TNC getting a lead.
Kazen, amazing footwork, turning that little juke into a major objective again. Turtle 1, Turtle 2, TNC, early game, all of them. Demon Kai'Sa having a great game. Talking about this forward flicker! All right.
Kozen.
That was backwards. Doming now, using it defensively for sure.
Hey, even earlier, it was a little defensive.
It was forward under the turret.
It was like a forward defensive maneuver.
A forward defensive, yeah, it's an FDM.
It's FDM at that point. So, but it's still the same story here, Leo. Like, you know, the gold laners are just going at it 1v1, duking it out, trying to get a lead on each other. And look at the gold lead, actually, coming out from Kozen here.
That's huge, 1,000 about?
Yeah. That's a massive lead already, you know, just going one-on-one for the most part. He does have the Haas class, so he's able to kind of, you know, obviously he takes a couple shots.
Yep.
He just life steals him back up.
No kills. That was all just farming. That was all just presence of mind. Taking care of your waves, taking care of your minions. That explains the Rolex. You got that Rolly.
The Rolly buff. That's what it is at this point.
Slowly but surely, TNC, I think this is one of the key ways they can ramp up into a solid mid-game chokehold into the late. They attack Aurora on many different fronts. Look at that. The push by Kazen up top, and then the threat on the Demon Kite's Purple, who, by the way, needs it dearly.
He does. Definitely on the Nolan. And this is interesting, man. Like, this is, would you say this is a different TNC than what we've seen for the past 3 weeks? Like, I know it is a lineup. Like, that's the apparent
Obviously.
thing. But is it the synergy that they have, you know, even in the past that's working out here?
The Minana DNA.
Exactly.
It's in their genes. They're used to hearing each other's voices in their heads and knowing what the other's going to do. Again, that's what synergy is. That's what chemistry was. Talking about it yesterday.
Coach Arcadia.
When we heard from Coach Arcadia. Exactly. Michael Angelo Bocado knows what's up.
Yeah.
Baraka hits now. Going in the mid-game spike. They're skipping the laning phase now. We're into the final turtle rotation. Movements across the map. And look, both roamers are just crossing the board. It's like Renegade down there.
Yep.
And then look at where Escalera is constantly.
Pretty much trying to do the same thing here. Oh, there it is, Renegade again. They'll get the Purify out. They drop down the Glorious Pathway, and Kazen is taken out of the picture. They're going to lose their jungler, and here's the response, though. TNC looking for blood. Edward going to be able to get out with the Flicker, the Primal Raft, too. Turtle still for the taking here, though, so Aurora will go ahead, pull it up. Demon Kite knows no opposing jungler across from him, but Renegade takes a couple shots and will go down. But it was all for that objective. Aurora secures the turtle.
All right, 2-1. TNC did not expect for Aurora to throw that much at Kazen. He's been getting away with way too much in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, yes, and again, going back to it, TNC still holding, you know, at least control. But how long can they keep their control going? And when you're watching these skirmishes, these team fights happen before the objectives, it's so much on Edward and Renegade. And so you have to constantly play against that. How do you avoid the implosions? How do you avoid the flicker setups coming out from Edward, even with the onward Earth Shatter combo? So as long as TNC stays, you know, locked in and their heads on a swivel, as I like to say it, then they can avoid those and hopefully get a favorable team fight.
And I think that's what makes Edward maybe top 3 Edith in all of MPL Philippines, which basically means top 3 Edith in all the world. He's able to use it defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
And look at this, see? Heads is trying to buy time, but look at how they're tactically retreating. Oh!
They're going to crash down. They cut him off the Glorious Pathway, and they'll be able to find the Hitman, Renegade, and Edward as well. Just as we talked about it, Demon Kite tries to find his own. Lancey's going to be fine, but hey, that's what we were talking about. Handle those set potentialers, those setters from Aurora, and TNC does it by just cutting them off.
Man, they didn't know where Lancey would have come from anyways. Because look, who would check? Look at the rest of the map. Who would check? Their two main frontliners were the ones getting chased down.
And when that happens, you're left just running for the hills, man. Like, your frontliners are gone. What are you going to do? You know, at that point. That's why, again, Demon Kai just trying to, like, clean up a kill if he could, but better to call it off and try to slow things down again, because TNC playing on the momentum they have. Even looking at the items, you know, items are falling into place. There's the wings now, too, for Lancy.
Still about 1,000 between Kozin and Doming. Slight lead now on Demon Kite over Kazin. I think this is because Kazin has slowly tried to get better setups, so he's not taking his farm as much. And Demon Kite here slowly going for a mid-game ramp-up. And maybe that's why the Nolan, despite having like a relatively bad early to mid, is still one of the most in-demand junglers. He's the #1 jungler for burst.
Renegade again doing the same thing. Implosion's going to be there. They knock down Escalera. They take him out of the picture. Edward goes in. Onward, but the Infernal Pursuit of Heads will keep them going. But finally taken down. Still a couple members left. Domeng has to flicker out. Lord's going to go in. Edward flickers in himself. They're looking for Kazin. They'll find him as Demon Kai picks up the kill. And now Lord still under half health. They're working on him, but Kozin couldn't get the last hit on Demon Kite. But he takes out the rest of the problems there. Lord will reset, and they bring it back.
And it's not like Doming was on the brink of death just 5 seconds ago. He just turns on the foot style and says, you know what, I'll just take the mid anyways.
I'm just going to go mid.
Nothing's happening. It's a tough past few minutes for the Zen brothers. Kazin died. Kozin can't effectively kill. And they're going for the reset. Lord up about 4/5 of its health in. Escalera with the glorious pathway. Oh no, I think TNC wants to commit.
Dominator's Ascent going to be used too. They go in a little bit further down the line, and now Escalera once again going to be the focus. Renegade finds 2 members here. They drop the damage, and Escalera is going to be taken out as well as Heads. TNC falling apart for this Lord here. They lose 2. And so Aurora looks to be able to just get this Lord down. Wait, hold on. Diversion going to be used.
No one sent.
They don't send anyone. They just call it off as Lord is secured here for Aurora.
What a shuffle. What a shuffle. Aurora Mlbb. They were on the back foot for the better part of the first 10 minutes of the game. And suddenly, even after that free pickup from TNC down bottom on Renegade and Edward, they're able to play footsies enough. And again, Joseph, they were pressuring mid. They just kept, Doming never went home.
He didn't.
He's just, I'm just going to take
Guys,
this.
I got the mid.
Clear the waves. All right. And now, I would reckon he has closed the gap between him and Kozin.
We would have to see the numbers, but I'm pretty sure after all the last couple minutes he's
after
done that.
all that?
After all that, he's at that point where he's going to be pretty much, I don't know, even or above, but right now they're going to be pushing into possibly the base here once things get aligned. And I would say, too, for Aurora, that's the thing. TNC, we talked about, can they maintain that ignition on the wings? Well, it just got doused out. That's the problem that we see here from TNC. Now, can they rise to the occasion of defending this push that's going to come from Aurora? And you can expect Renegade or Edward to possibly force a fight if they want to. They slowly work on the shields. Holy shields are going to be down.
Popped.
Mid-turret still stands because they got to respect the damage, too. Escalera lays down the glorious pathway just to cut him off. Gets the flicker out from Edward, too. But I think that's all they get here.
Whoa, look at this, a diversion.
Oh, they're going to send it in.
Implosion.
Renegade implosions. He's going to be able to find Kozin. Kozin's the target. They get him down. And Heads, too. Even with the Infernal Pursuit as Lancy goes down next. 3 members of TNC. They wanted to go with a diversion, and they end up getting smacked down.
Choked up, face down, burnt out. Now pushing in mid. Just Kazin left to defend.
Only Kazin left. No minion waves, though, just yet to push in further.
They're forcing it.
They'll rely on the Nightmaric spawn. They want the turret. They get it.
Hard fought 3 seconds. Just keep going.
Just hold on, Nightmaric spawn.
All right, a minute until the next Lord. Aurora have hit Supernova, approaching 5,000 gold in 13 minutes. Joseph, I think TNC have got to come up with new tricks. Luckily, their lineup is very much capable, right? You can find more angles through Lancy's diversion. Maybe...
Just not like that. Not like the last one.
Not like that. Don't send Kozin.
Kozin was right there.
Blank. Yeah. He needs a little space. He's more like a midfielder.
Yeah.
He's not a striker. Maybe, I don't know if Heads is fully built. Maybe Heads can be a little chunkier.
Yeah.
Think about how you can use him to force out a response from Aurora. And then Escalera. I think that's one huge point that we can use. Escalera has been using maybe the Glorious Pathway 3 out of 5 times in the past 13, 14 minutes.
Yep.
Like a barrier.
Yeah, it's like a cutoff. Like,
Yeah.
don't touch this lob.
Yeah, maybe rotate it 90 degrees and then use it to where the fight should happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's easier said than done, but that's an option. That's a theory.
Whoa,
Oh!
whoa, whoa! Whoa, diversion, Kaizen!
Nani kore?
I don't know if that was planned or that clearly had to be a mistake. I mean, blindly setting your jungler over there.
Would like to see what Kaizen looks like right now on the player cams.
Whoa. All right, well, Lord secured for Aurora on a
Nonchalant.
huge mistake from TNC.
Nonchalant? Was that a miscom? Was that a communication breakdown?
That had to be. I just don't see in a world where the call would have been, Kaizen, I'm going to send you up to the Lord.
I don't think he was HOTTO-GO. He wasn't ready, man.
Yeah, he was not ready.
What?
And that could be a dire mistake, just that play alone. As we were talking about TNC, what could they do to turn this game around? And now they're forced to just kind of defend at the base here. Aurora, massive lead, Lord pushing in the mid. They only have one base turret left.
Oh no, and there's an enhanced Lord marching through mid. Fat waves through top and bottom. Let's see, Kaizen already respawned. Yue picking up the HC. Crashing up top first.
Yep, couple shots on Renegade. He's at half health. Lord's still going to be worked on here. Demon Kite puts some pressure on Heads. Edwards will be stymied as well. The Glorious Pathway is going to come down.
Bang.
But Renegade will be solved. They're still going to be fighting through. Lord has to be taken care of. Escalera's out of the picture. Finally, the Lord goes down, holding on to half the base health here.
Lancey!
Yue flickers out, but Lancey will be taken down. And now they just look to lock on the base as Aurora takes game number 1.
Clear pain points for TNC. An amazing early game into the ramp up until the final turtle where it all seems to crumble. Again, the story of TNC, they light the flames in the early game, but for some reason, they get down by mid to late. I wonder what our analysts saw there. Let's go to Venma Santa Cruz and rock on.
Very accurately, I feel like